crashing, guys. I'm so sorry. But apparently it's not working. Sarman, thanks for the follow. Luckily I catch that one just in time. Hoping that OBS will stay stable. I have no idea what's going on again, guys. Just a stable system. Hoping that in the next update it's going to be fixed soon. Alright. Anyways, so we are back here. I was setting or about to set my frequencies. Here we are. Okay, so what do we need? Well, what we need is first comms. 8 is 128.8. Come to 128.8. Switch. Also like to have the ATIS of my destination airport, Venice, and that is 127.5. 127.55. Okay, perfect. Then I like to have some communications. Let me see. Ground 121.7. Hey Captain, good to see you. Question about your Reality XP units. Have you purchased the current navigational data through Garmin? No, I think I just followed a link that Reality XP provided, which is the Garmin trainer database. Is that the one that you're referring to? I would love to have a more up-to-date database, actually. I was chatting with John Fly earlier, and he was also saying that the current or the trainer database that I'm using is not current at all. So if you've got any tips there, I would love to hear them. 121.7 grounds. Okay, that's currently set, and Riverside Tower is 121.1. No, 121.0. 121.0. Okay, that sets. Nice. Oh, that's nice, gaming. On GTA 5. Ah, wonderful. Well, perhaps you're familiar with my GTA flight crew project. Really enjoyed flying on GTA. Long time before. Okay, that's the communication. Then we like to have some navigational stuff as well. Let me see. First one, I'd like to use PDIS here, which is an NDB up all the way over there, to catch, not because it's necessary, but because it's fun, to go down to Lake Matthews, or Matthews. Let's set that one first, and that was 397. You can see that's already set. Good. Then Pomona, which is 110.4. F1 110.4. Any other VOR that I need to set? No, because I'm just gonna fly NDBs. So what we could do is set the other one of El Monte here, which is 359. Which is also already set in the standby here, so that's good. So we can do a quick switch. Perfect. That means that nav is set and radios are set as well. Double check. Ground was 121.7 and Riverside Tower is 121.0. Roger. Good. Up to now, I haven't heard any tower controller just yet. So we'll have to see. To hear someone actually before we transmit ourselves. Yeah, the train is not current, just curious. I have the 750 6-3 combo and was wondering how about to go about updating. Ah, right. Well, I don't know. Perhaps we should poke John Fly and ask him how we can do that. Hey Ron, good to see you. Welcome on board. Happy Monday. Good, thank you Snipe, and thank you for dropping by on such a short notice. And also thank you for your subscription. Have a wonderful day, and hoping to see you very, very soon. Burley, hello. Okay, so, okay, ATIS.
Riverside Municipal Information Alpha. 1900 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 20,000 scattered, temperature 16, dew point -9. Altimeter 3010. Arriving runway 34, departing runway 34. Advise on initial contact you have Alpha.
Alpha. Roger. And airport elevation, just to confirm, is 819. Well, that's not really that current. Perhaps I misheard. 819. So that might be an indication that our altimeter is actually broken. I don't think so. Perhaps the ATIS is a little bit off, or I didn't hear correctly. Either way, it's always good to check the airport elevation against the current altimeter setting. Okay, that's set. What heading? Well, perhaps we're going to fly usually going to fly or depart an airport as VFR based on some particular traffic pattern lag. So it's handy to have your heading bug set at the proper runway that you're going to depart from, and I would expect 27, so let's preset it anyways. Okay, double check that PilotEdge is actually on. Yes, it is on. Okay, weird, why I don't hear anything. Sync with the magnetic compass and the heading indicator, that's good. We can set this one to the timer. And again, engine is nicely warming up and circuit breakers, everything is in. Perfect, okay, nice. Ooh, scattered clouds. Anything else? Well, what we could do is set the OBS just to help us, because as soon as we're gonna go at Lake Matthews, or what it is called, I would expect a heading of 300 to get there. So what we could do is already set the OBS here, and we could do the same with the ADF. 300. You can see what's so nice with the 530 is that it already automatically identifies the VOR, as you can see. So Pomona, you guys can see, which is nice. Don't have to hear at the Morse code to identify it. Same goes for the ADF. So I'd like to fly this particular very short leg towards Lake Matthews. So I'd like to catch the 190 radial bearing, I should just say, 0. No, that's not correct. Because now with the ADF, it works actually the other way around. So I do not set it on the radial that I like to fly. I'm going to set it how I like to fly it, how I like to catch the radial. So instead, I'm going to fly into that radial bearing, NDB bearing, from this direction. That's going to be 120. That's it at 120. And as soon as the yellow arrow, I mean, this is just an empty, non-interactive compass rose. But as I'm flying 120, as soon as this arrow points towards, what was it? 260. We got already 190. 190. So when it's pointing to here, then I know that I'm at that moment exactly on the 190 bearing outbound from that particular NDB, and then I make my turn to 190. So I can turn I can turn this compass rose as much as I like, but it doesn't interact with the yellow ADF thingy here because it's not a radial, right? That's the main difference between a VOR and an NDB. So that's interesting. So this is how to go about it, I think. Okay, so that is set, nice. Heading bug is set, nice. Altimeter is set, we're ready to go. Still no one on the radio. And we are, yeah, COM1 is active. Okay, weird. Well, we're at general aviation parking. I'm gonna expect 27, but perhaps we're gonna get 16 because I like to go southbound. We have Alpha. Riverside ground. Good day. Skyhawk Pop Hotel Tango Mike at the General Aviation parking with Alpha for a southbound departure.
PHTIM Riverside ground. Runway 27 taxi to the Alpha Charlie.
27 via Alpha Charlie Papa Hotel Tango Mike. Okay, luckily my radio is not broken. Little louder for me at least. Okay. 27 Alpha Charlie. Alpha Charlie. Well, I guess we can pick our own exit here from the ramp. So, like so, Alpha down to Charlie 27. Okay. Reporting at east. We're also going to the east for that taxi, so yeah, it's going to be to our left here. Wonderful. Okay. Then, anything else? No, our engine is warm, everything is good. Thanks for the follow, Black. Thank you. Come aboard. Okay. Do we have a crosswind? No, we don't have a crosswind here, so we don't need any crosswind correction while we are taxiing at least. Parking brakes released. Brake test is working. Here we go. A little bit more power here. Watch out for this Learjet or whatever it is. We're gonna hit our wingtips. There we go. What we could do is here go to the right, catch this taxiway. Turn, heading. Whoa! What was that? Looked like it was some very strong headwind that was just catching onto my wings there. I don't know why my nose went up, but I'm now already correcting for winds if that was the case. I know for sure. My taxi seems to be okay. Anyways, my slip indicator, my turn indicator worked. Everything is stable. That's great. I think it's the mesh, which is a little bit bumpy. Alpha. It's on our side here. Again, no one's taxiing on the other side. Wonderful. And there we go. Heading back at the bottom. That makes sense. We're gonna depart from 27. And we can set our RPM to about 900 or so to get a steady taxi going. At least at flat mesh. I have to see. Do you know any good flying games on PlayStation? Nope. Nope. A really good one is called X-Plane. You should try it, gaming. Now, windsock is steady. Calm, wind's calm, indicating wind's calm. Go a little bit faster than this. I like a slow taxi, but not this slow. Man, busy working day today I had. So it's nice just to fly a little bit. And also with a casual VFR flight, not too much of a challenge other than just trying to get more familiarized with the NDB and the VOR, especially now with the crosswind. That's fun. At least as a serious simmer, that's usually always kind of like the trade-off. I mean, I really enjoy challenging myself and learning something new, but it demands a particular cognitive load. And after a busy working day, sometimes I just cannot put that much more additional focus to my practice of flying. And I can tell because my flight performance is not that good. So I'm usually much better when flying in the weekends, for example. But hey. Here we are coming up. Charlie, 27. I think the run-up area is there in front of us. Well, we don't have any, again, no crosswind correction here, no winds at the ground, so it doesn't really matter what I point my nose to. So it is most courteous to point my nose towards the runway. So when I go with my run up, I will blast towards the back here and not onto the taxiway. Okay, good. Mixture full in. Engine is, or oil is already in the green, so that's good. Do a power test. 1800s. Annunciator messages, none. Good. Oil pressure still stable. Everything seems fine. Left mag. Don't hear any foul plugs. Oh, wonderful. Right, none. Let's go idle here. Again, oil pressure is still there. No annunciator messages. Wonderful. Okay, 1000. One last time. Control services. Wonderful. Okay, so that means that we're pretty much ready to go. So departure, this is to the west. I like to go to the south, so I'm expecting a left crosswind departure. What we're going to do is fly a heading of about, well, 120 to catch the 190 bearing towards or away from Pedis actually, until we hit that Lake Matthews. And at the same time, we're going to climb up as fast as we can to get to 6,500. That's the departure brief. As you can see, Riverside, and we're going to go down south. And the main concern, I guess, here is that Riverside is just on the edge of this outer ring, Charlie ring, that starts at 2,700. But as soon as we're flying south, we're already clear of that airspace, and we can clearly go up to 6,500. Yeah. And then we're going to pick up Pomona and just fly all the way to Venice. Basic. Hey, Vinish, good to see you. How are you doing? We should chat. I was so busy last weekend, and I know you like to brief the previous stream, or to review the previous stream, but man, so much to do. Switch tower 121.0, ready to go. Riverside Tower, Skypop Delta Tango Mike, Swami Short 27 at Charlie, ready for departure southbound.
PHTIM Riverside Tower, left crosswind departure south approved, wind 0903, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 27, left crosswind departure, Papa Delta Tango Mike. As expected. Wonderful. Landing lights on, strobe lights on. Park and brakes. Yep, good. Fuel, yeah, things are set. Ready to go. Lit up. Wonderful flying weather. On the runway. Corresponds with our heading indicator and full power. There we go. Speed's alive. Everything is still in the green. 40, 50, and 60. Now rotates. And there we go. A bit down to get the VY first, 79-ish. And there's the ramp. That's where we started. Nice airport. Alright, let's trim a bit. Still pushing on that yoke, so perhaps I should just memorize my trim setting. Something like that. And let's see, around 1500 we can make our crosswind turn.
John Wayne clearance, good afternoon. Panthera 388 Tango Mike.
Panthera 388 Tango Mike,
sorry,
John Wayne
guys.
clearance, go ahead.
Panthera 388 Tango Mike. Looking IFR John Wayne Airport with the weather, with a I-1 rating, please.
Yeah, I love it too. Some music as well.
There,
The bearing
388
toward the
Tango
beacon is
Mike.
called the QD.
Clear to John Wayne
Oh,
Airport on
right.
departure flight heading 175, radar
QDR.
vector
Never
Soul
heard about.
Beach direct.
Never heard of that.
Maintain
Finish.
4000. Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 6710.
Overshot my heading there. While reading Finish's remark.
And Pantera 38 Tango Mike, clear to John Wayne Airport, 175 on the heading, radar vector, stand direct to Seal Beach, 4,000 feet, 128.1 on the frequency, 6710 squawk, Pantera 38 Tango Mike.
Alright.
38 Tango Mike, read back correct, have a amendment to the altitude, maintain 3000.
That's the airspace, altitude.
Altitude
Ceiling.
correction to 3,000, Pantera 8 Tango Mike.
It's 2700, okay. You see Lake Matthews, or what it is called there, already in the distance. Let's go 120. We completed our crosswind leg here. Keep that climb going. Now, let's see if we can... oh yeah, obviously it's not going to show a outbound. That's interesting. It's always going to point inbound, obviously. So 120. I'm going to keep flying this direction until the back of this arrow is indicating 190. We're already quite close, as you can see. And as soon as it does, we're going to turn to 190. But it depends a little bit on our crosswind that I set at 6,500. I don't know what X-Plane is going to do, whether we are already suffering from that crosswind. It doesn't seem like it. Landing lights off. And full power still, looks good. We're already at 3,000, so we can lean a bit to get that EGT nicely high up and be a little bit more conservative with our fuel burn. As you can see, the back of the arrow of the ADF is already creeping into the 190. PDIS is over there to the left. So the sharp end of the needle always tells the QDM. Interesting. Thanks for sharing, Finish. Bearing to or from. Roger. Interesting. Alright. Still, the far end of the ADF is not at 190 yet. It's at 195 now. And Lake Matthews is over here, so it all makes sense. Almost there, 193 I think, and now it's 190. Let's make that turn to 190. Keep that climb in, Tim. There we are. Get back to VY. And we are on the 120-ish. I guess the 180-ish bearing outbound from PDIS. And that's how you do it, guys. Nice. There's Lake Matthews. Wonderful flying day. While we are climbing. Hey Stefan, good to see you. Yeah. Well, glad to have you on board. Okay, so the Charlie of Ontario ends at 5,000, so 300 to go. And then we're already safe to turn around and go to Pomona. And what we'd like to do here is catch the 300 bearing, no, radial, inbound to Pomona. I also set some gusts in the wind, and I think that my Cessna is gusting here. Weather, wind vaning. So I guess my headwind now, it's coming from the south of about 20 knots, is active. you can see, I'm currently still nicely on track, on my desired track here from Peters. But the real practice is going to go, I now have a headwind, so there's not a lot of practice here of correcting or crabbing.
John Wayne, 038 Tango Mike.
5,500s. Oh no, I need to go to 6,500s.
0388 Tango Mike, John.
Also forgot to set the clock.
Snap 038 Tango Mike.
Part of my
is that
before
signature,
takeoff brief.
With the weather, ready to taxi.
There, 8 Tango Mike, runway. Actually, are you able to runway 20 left to Kilo, or do you need the right side?
I can take off runway 20 left if that's convenient for you.
There, 8 Tango Mike, roger, runway 20 left. Taxi via Alpha, Hotel, Charlie, Kilo.
Runway 20 left, yeah, Alpha, Hotel, Charlie.
Wait, while we're
Kilo.
flying to the west, you can see the needle is
38
creeping
Tango
in.
Mike. Thank you.
But I know that we've got a wind from the south. So that means that we're going to be pushed from the left towards the right. So I need to shortcut my turn a bit to end up in the crab position. So something a little bit more than this. Because I don't like to fly just inbound to Pomona. I like to be on that radial. Going a little bit more to the west here to catch the radial. Engine is still good. $6,500 coming up. Needle is creeping in. Nice. And nose down. Don't change the power setting just yet. Just allow the airspeed to increase to cruise. Around 100 knots indicated is fine for me. Again, if you are making, if you estimated your en route times for each leg based on a particular ground speed, then obviously you need to hit a particular indicated airspeed as well, considering the winds and all that stuff. Right, needle is almost there. This is about right. 2400-ish. Goes down. I'm not flying my heading here because I know I'm being pushed from the south to the north. You see, I'm still being pushed to the right. I'm still creeping on that needle even though my heading is not to the north side of 300. So I actually need to increase my turn to the left to stay centered. So perhaps even west. And I think I can calculate how many degrees I need to turn my nose to the left to stay on this track based on that crosswind component. Still drifting off a bit. Let's go west. It's almost like, well, it's exactly the same thing, I guess, when you are on a sailboat on a strong current. You see, I'm still drifting off. Oh, now I need to go to the other side, obviously. I'm not thinking straight. Because now, if I'm going to go to the left, I'm going to fly all the way away from that radial. So that's not good thinking, Tim. Oh. Should be exactly the opposite. To catch that radial, so now I'm gonna catch it again, but I'm not only pointing my nose towards the radial, I'm also being pushed that way by the wind. A bit more power there, and just a tiny bit. Stefan, really about streaming through. Well, you should, Stefan. You should stream. It's good for you, Tim, to know some ICO terms that when PA Preps goes Europe, you know. Oh, yeah. I'm hoping that PA PilotEdge will go Europe as well.
Clearance clear to Torrance, San Bernardino Airport on departure for heading 1. Correction, on departure for heading 220.
Exactly, finish, I know. Yeah.
Radar vector still beach, direct. Maintain 2000. Expect 3000.
Okay,
Turn
heading
right back to
indicator still in
departure.
sync with my
Departure
crosswind, with my magnetic compass.
frequency 128.1. Squawk 5177.
3610 Echo, clear to Torrance, flight heading 220, vector Seal Beach direct 2000, expect 3000, 10 minutes, 128.1, 5177.
See what the needle is doing.
3610 Echo.
I believe I said
Okay,
winds from
10,
180, but I don't know how X-Plane is interpreting that. Perhaps if I set 180 in X-Plane, it's actually going to push from north to the south. It's where the wind is blowing towards, which is different from a METAR. And it seems that that's the case, but I don't know for sure. "12 nautical miles to go. Get to Pomona. Let me double check. Winds 180, 22 knots. So does this mean that it's coming from the south? I believe so. Let's make it 30. Whoa. Let's see what happens. So yeah, I'm now being pushed away from, yeah, this makes sense. This is what I would expect. So I need to crab a little bit more to the south, obviously, into the wind to stay on that track. Something like this, perhaps. And again, this is the handy thing about a radial or a VOR flying, because you can set a radial, a particular ground track that you like to fly, and you just need to fiddle around how much of a crabbing angle you need to use in order to stick on that radial. With an NDB though, that's not how it works, because it always points directly towards the beacon. So you cannot set a radial and fly it, so you need to constantly make changes here with your compass rose to infer that crab angle, which is not ideal. It's coming from the south. Thank you, Stefan.
Skyhawk 3610 Echo, West Ramble Charlie, request taxi to the active.
Yes, Roger.
Sky 3610 Echo, John Wayne ground, wind, correction, runway 20 right, taxi via
Explain.
Bravo Kilo.
Don't hang on me. Thank
20
you.
right, Bravo Kilo, 10 Echo.
Nicely centered
John
there.
Wayne, Tower, 38 Tango Mike, holding short runway 20 left at Kilo.
All right. Interior should be to our right. Yes, there it is. Heard tower.
Predator 388 Tango Mike, John Wayne Tower, wind calm, runway 20 left at Kilo, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 20 left. Kilo, Panther 38
So with this particular crosswind, thank you for the follow, Yakavi. Thank you. Welcome on board. You can see we are, well, about 15 degrees turn into the wind to stay on that track. Now I guess as soon as we're going to fly to El Monte, NDB, we can already switch that NDB, by the way. Switch. Boom. Yeah. And we're going to fly a little bit more of a westerly heading. That southern crosswind component is going to even influence our crabbing position even more, because it's going to be a much more direct push away from our track. GT still nicely high up, engine is looking good. Lights are off, everything is set. Check. Wowee. So pretty. So now, yes,
There 8 Tango Mike, contact still to departure.
I'm now at 300, something
Panther
like that.
38,
Still, that
Tango
wind is
Mike,
pushing. As you can see, it's pushing me away from my track.
John Wayne Tower, Skyhawk 3610 Echo,
So
holding
let's
short
return to our
20
15
right.
degree, or actually a little bit more, so we can catch up on that
John Wayne Tower, wind calm, runway 20
radial.
right at
So let's
Kilo,
go
clear for
20
takeoff.
degrees.
20 right at Kilo, clear for takeoff. 10 Echo.
Something like this. And it should slowly catch up.
There 388 Tango Mike.
4 miles to go, so that means that the needle will also become a little bit more sensitive. Let's... I don't think I prepared a particular bearing to fly here with my NDB. However, we could. Let me see. So we are now here at Pomona. I'd like to fly to Almonte. Let's fly. Oh. Over there. Just a random kind of point. So I'd like to descend just a tiny bit. I'd like to catch the 240. 240 bearing towards Almonte. So 300. That's our current heading. We'll ignore the VOR here because it's running away from us 2 nautical miles. I'd like to climb here, Tim. 6,500.
388 Tango Mike. Roger, turn right heading 350.
So we're going to stick to 300 and wait until the arrow here points to our desired track.
Departure 10 Echo.
That was 240? 240. Let's see what happens. Push down, Tim. Come on. 6,500. As you can see, the needle is slowly pointing ever more so to 240.
Heading 265, vector towards airport, 511 bridge west. Climb and maintain
Engine is still
3000.
looking good. We can already set our next ADF if we like. After Almonte, we're going to go to Whiteman here, and that is Pocoima 370. Oh, 390 it was, I believe.
1033.5 miles northwest.
No, it wasn't.
370. But there are 8 Tango Mike, traffic slightly rightier at 12 o'clock and 3 miles southwestbound to Skyhawk, climbing from correction 2000.
How does that work? How does that work, guys? I like to get to the thirds. Perhaps it's just like so. Yeah. Okay. Basic. What was it? 370.
Heading 270. Join runway 29 right localizer. Climb and maintain 3000.
All right. Needle creeping in. Thanks for the follow, T-Bats. Thank you. Welcome on board. Happy Monday. Some casual radial flying with a proper crosswind. 240 coming up. There yet. And so when I'm flying 240, I still have a crosswind component, but a little bit less. Still, I need to overturn. So I don't need to fly to 240, but a bit more. We're almost there. Because I need to end up in a crab position, right? Chris, you're going over my home airport. That's nice. Yeah, that's also true, Stefan. That's true. 240, almost there. I'm descending a little bit too much. Almost there. There it is. Alright. Well, flight following, so be extra vigilant here. nose up, like to be at 6,500. 240, but a bit more because we're going to be pushed from the south to the north. So something like 230. Well, we're not really there yet. Now this is difficult. Does it make sense now to fly a little bit more to the right? Yes. So I made my turn a little bit too early, I think. 1, 2. So let's fly a little bit like this. Let's see if we can do it on the go. Correct for our bearing here. Power. So still short. 240-ish. Well, not bad. Not entirely 240, but it's getting close. Let's see. A little bit to our left. It's Almonte is also not that far away. Then Neil's going to get a little bit more. Yeah, so we're now flying the 230 bearing inbound. I think again, if I'd like to change that to 240, if I 240, it's a little bit to my left, so that means that I need to fly a little bit more to the left side here, which makes sense because I'm getting pushed from the south towards the north, so a bit more aggressive here.
But they're 8 angle Mike, turn right heading 0.
Yeah, that means that with a crosswind, the needle will not point straight up. That's not the goal here. That's difficult, man. So I should set it to, for example, 2-3. This is difficult, but interesting. Let me see if I can make sense of this. Thank you for the follow. Ebedonix, thank you. Welcome on board. Getting my head around this NDB flying with the crosswind.
Thank you.
So, needle is pointing up. So I'm on the 230 radial
Echo, you're
of that NDB. But I'd like to be on the 240 radial. So I need to go a little bit more down to the south to catch up. So let's say 210, or a little bit further, 200. Let's reset the compass rose to 200 and do the same trick once more. Wait until the needle hits 240. But I know that I'm being pushed from the south to the north, so I don't need to turn all the way down to 240, but a little bit short, 230 or something like that. But that means if I end up at 230, that the yellow needle of the ADF will not point straight up because I'm a little bit crabbed. Oh, let's go up to him. So it will be a little bit more down to the right, as much as I've crabbed into the wind, away from my desired ground track kind of heading. It's interesting. So again, a bit more power here, and it's still looking good. A bit more nose up. 240 is coming, it's creeping in. Same drill as before. Lewis, thanks for the follow. Welcome on board and happy Monday, guys. Some casual VFR flying and practicing flying NDB bearings with a crosswind. 25 degree knot or 30 degree, 30 knots. I mean 30 knots crosswind. 240. Okay. There we go. Shortcut that turn because we're being pushed to the north. So a little bit like this. Even though I'm now set it to 230. No, other way around, Tim. The needle should point to 240. Yes, this is how it works. Yes, so the needle is now not straight up relative to my compass, to my panel, which is good. But it is pointing 240, so I am on the 240 radial. A little bit to the left here. Still being pushed from the south to the north, as you can see. Interesting. So I'm on the 240 right now. Still, the compass rose is still in sync with my heading indicator. That's interesting. Crosswind, NDB, bearing, flying. This is it. Interesting. This is old school. Very cool.
Turn right heading 080.
Nice. So next up, I'm gonna switch to. Yeah, El Monte is here. Our next NDB is gonna be Pocoima, I think. Is it cold? Oh, drifting off here. Right over El Monte. Yeah, so I guess it will flip around the ADF very soon. Switch 370. So that's going to be 300-ish. But again, I'm going to be pushed from the south to the north, so I need to point my nose a little bit more down south into the wind. So again, you could say I'd like to fly a 240 radial
They're 18 on Mike right heading
inbound to that Whiteman Airport. But in order to stick on that ground track, I need to fly a crab heading. Even a little bit more so. See? Let's fly west and see whatever happens. Well, no. A little bit less. What am I doing? This is not proper. I didn't set my compass rose, so this is weird. I'm not flying on the 240. I'm currently flying on the 280. Or 85 even. Or let's pick 280. Just current, 280. A little bit down as well. Straight level, 28. Down, Tim, down.
They're 18 on Mike, just snake cross snake at 3000, cleared ILS
Yeah,
runway 20 right approach.
being pushed a little bit off because the needle is pointing a little bit too much left of 280, so let's go a little bit to the left here.
They're 18 on Mike, 2.5 miles from snake, maintain 3000, correction cross snake at 3000, cleared ILS runway 20 right approach. Sky
280-ish.
Torrance Tower,
Nice.
133.07.
Good. Interesting. So glad that I added this to my training as well, NDB flying. I mean, still, these are phased out of the aviation system, but I think it's nice old school to know how to use them.
610 Echo, correction, Torrance Tower, wind calm,
Very
runway
cool.
29 right, clear to land. I understand you're going missed, report the missed.
29 right, clear to land, we'll report miss 10 Echo.
Yeah, so
But there are 8 Tango
280.
Mike, contact John Wayne Tower 126.8.
And again, what you would love to see is an instrument where the ADF is built into your heading indicator, so you don't need to change the compass rose all the time. Okay, so we are flying towards
Showing Tarpon
Burbank and all that
Tango
stuff.
Mike,
It's
3,000
all in
miles,
front of us
20
here in
approach.
Whiteman.
So there are
So what we
388
could
Tango
do-
Mike, John Wayne Tower, wind 2003.
Well, perhaps it's a little bit early. We could pick up ATIS of Van Nuys.
So the Lammer 120 right, and 038 Tango Mike.
Snap, good to see you here aboard, buddy. Are you doing real-world flight lessons as well? Well, I would love to. I would love to. But it's so expensive here in the Netherlands. Planning to get your PPL. In total, including everything, be around 16,000 euros. 16,000 euros. Flight lessons here are very, very expensive. So I would love to do those, and I'm occasionally doing one. Also now I updated my donation goal here to do some real world flights, just to gain some real world experiences as well, and well, have a better sense of what I'm doing actually here in the sim. I think I should move to the US, I guess, to Florida, and get my PPL there in some kind of boot camp crash course. I would love to, but yeah, Ryan, exactly. And RMI, what does that stand for? I recognize the acronym. Still, you can see we're still on that heading, or bearing towards that NDB. While we're not flying that heading, we're still consistently flying that bearing. And that's a little bit different, different kind of thinking. You can see how much you need to think like a, well, like a nav 1. I mean, I'm now doing partly the work that the VOR is doing in a way when we are flying a particular radial. It's so much more harder. But it's fun. This is really cool. Just you also develop a greater, at least in my case, I feel a more greater appreciation for, well, also the instruments that you have on board, but also just the skill of using such a old school instrument. I think it's really, really fun. I mean, as part of my Uncertified Pilot project, training with this stuff, or really the serious training of it, and really trying to use all of the instruments. It's not just a necessity almost to call myself a proper instrument rated sim pilot, but it also deepens my love for flying and the systems that have been invented and designed and integrated in an airplane to get from A to B in all kinds of ways. I think that's really inspiring and really, really nice.
Sky 3610 Echo SoCal approach, radar contact, Los Angeles altimeter 3006.
Radio magnetic indicator, roger, Ryan. Snave needles superimpose on it, exactly. Exactly. Also saw some screenshots of the upcoming G1000 for the 172.
Do a couple of laps in the hole first,
Even though
or
I'm
go ahead
a
and
slant
proceed
alpha
back
kind of
up?
guy, still flying with a slant Golf here with my GPS, but still I'm a slant alpha kind of student
Roger,
pilot.
you said the localizer or the VLR folder?
That G1000 looked pretty cool. And I think it's also good practice to learn how to use the G1000, also as part of my project. So I'm going to do that as well as soon as 0.10 version is coming out. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Exactly. So, casual flying, this is perfect. It's part of a busy working day. My gosh, I'm now in my last year of my PhD. So, I've gathered a lot of data, got a lot of hypotheses, articulated, formulated, and I need to test them. So there's a lot of data mining and stuff that needs to be done. So been written about. It's really fun work though, to develop a bigger picture of what you actually did as a researcher as part of your experiment. But it was really demanding. I'm quite tired after work. And still, I love to fly, but sometimes those things do not go together. At least, not in my terms. I mean, I'd like to. To me, it's not just about stepping into the sim, fly, and just have some fun. For me, it's really all about learning, challenging myself, learning something new about the NDB or the ADF. And it requires some focus. And sometimes I just don't have the focus, and then I jump aboard someone else's stream and just watch and enjoy myself with a glass of wine, which actually works quite well. JSnap, what's your PhD thesis on? Well, I'm actually an educational psychologist, and I'm helping primary school teachers to better stimulate and assess children's curiosity and creative thinking in school. I think that those are really important qualities that really make our children future-proof in a way. And our current primary education system, and this same would be true for the US as well, does not truly stimulate children in that way. So we are kind of like turning our children into robots, memorizing information that will be not applicable or relevant anymore in the next 5 years. So knowledge development is a really important skill that we need to teach children, ourselves as well, as students as well. And so teachers need to approach their teaching in a different way, stimulating children's curious thinking and explanation seeking and out-of-the-box thinking, be more innovative thinkers. And my thesis is about how we can equip primary school teachers, also how to train them, now what kind of tools they need in order to stimulate children's curious and creative thinking as part of their everyday school practice. It's not as part of a particular project or some lesson series, but as part of their everyday doing in the classroom. And I've conducted a pretty large-scale experimental longitudinal study where I'm investigating the effects of that training and the tools that I provided primary school teachers to see if those teachers over the period of 3 years or so actually change their way of teaching. And if that change of their teaching eventually also leads to a positive development of children's curious thinking and creative thinking, which is really fun. So there's a lot of instrument development and validation work going on there, training obviously, also organizational change, also, which I like really a lot actually, is the psychological operationalization of terms like curiosity. I mean, what is curiosity? What kind of a psychological muscle is curiosity? It's really important before you can make any tools or make any suggestions on how to develop it in children or in anyone else. So it's a really nice research and really relevant, really hot topic. And I would love to apply all of that knowledge also within the theme of aviation, and use aviation as a topic almost as a vehicle to stimulate children's curious and creative thinking.
Ramona Ground, good morning again. Pilatus 270 Mike Hotel over at,
thanks, Phil Dudes. Hey, Evan, good to see you as well.
Echo. Looking for VFR flight.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Very interesting. Victor Charlie Victor via the Paradise VOR 12,500.
And what's the biggest challenge that we're seeing actually is, which is not a shock, but that's actually the main focus of many studies that are currently going on that front, is that primary school teachers conventionally are almost all the time lecturing about particular topics. So it's a one-way street where they own all the knowledge and try to transfer that knowledge onto the children. And children need to memorize all that stuff.
Pilatus 270
While
Hotel,
we all know
19.62557 on the
there are many
squawk.
policymakers and researchers and scholars
Pilots
saying,
are
well,
Mike
that's
Hotel,
not the
lead back
kind of a
direct,
skill we
advisory
need
taxi, expect over
our children to
27.
be good at when they go off to work and invent new things, because they need to work on stuff that we do not know the answers to. So we are actually training our students in a way that's not aligned with the work that they are going to do in the future.
Pilatus 0 Mike
So
Hotel,
teachers need
advisory
to
taxi, you lead
really
back direct.
fundamentally change their roles as teachers. Rather than transferring knowledge, they need to instigate some kind of a
Pilatus 0 Mike Hotel,
curiosity
27
or
taxi, Alpha.
knowledge-seeking kind of behavior. So they need to pose many more questions rather than giving answers, right? Well, and that's really a big change for them. And so I'm training teachers to make that change in their practice and researching the effects of it. It's a really complex topic, but it's so much fun if you see that it's actually working.
There, 8 Tango Mike, it's past
Meanwhile, we passed the Charlie of Burbank,
Thank you much. Have a great day.
as you can see here, guys. So that means we're free to descend and set ourselves up for a nice inbound landing at Venice. JSnap, I think in school I felt there was too much group discussion in high school and not enough being lectured at by someone actually knowledgeable, but in younger grades I think the equation is definitely different. Yeah, well, actually JSnap, so it's not that knowledge is not important anymore. To the contrary, actually, knowledge development is even more important than a decade ago. But what we know from all kinds of studies is that when children discover that knowledge themselves or construct that knowledge themselves together with reliable knowledge resources and with a teacher, with some guidance, then that knowledge becomes much more meaningful, and they also learn how to seek knowledge, right? So many children that now go off to university, college actually, are just coming into college like, okay, tell me how the world works. And what many more lecturers are now, or even companies require from our graduates, is saying, no, you are going to tell us what we need to do with our organization to get to the knowledge that we need to survive as a company or to make a better world. And graduates are saying, well, we don't know, you have to tell it, you have to give us an assignment, you have to, you know, a little bit extremely put, but that's kind of like how it works. So it's still very important that children develop knowledge, but the way we teach them to gain that knowledge, that's actually the whole challenge. Let me see, guys. I'm really losing myself in this wonderful chat about my PhD thesis, but I'd like to land as well.
At John Wayne.
Yeah, so we set a crosswind here at 6,500. I'm hoping that a crosswind will not be there when we are in the traffic pattern at 1,200 or 16 right.
Departure frequency
Let's go down, landing lights on, so we're visible here.
6040.
Let's use the GPS. Where's Venice? It should be somewhere around there.
Okay.
I think it's over there.
Heading
Venice. Yes, there it is. Wonderful.
And then it's filed 2000.
Two. Switch. Oh, Venice doesn't have an ATIS, that's right. Okay.
It's a 22 with you, back correct.
16 right, I'm going to expect. Or Venice, which is usually assigned to, and that means 1,200 feet is traffic pattern. At least AGL. And what is the altitude? It's, the airport elevation is at 800. So at 2,000 MSL. Going down we go. Thank you, Ryan. Yes.
Ramona Tower, Pilatus 270 Mike Hotel, Poland Shore 27 via park.
Well, and again, guys, that's kind of my dream, which I'm actually already working on.
270 Mike Hotel, Ramona Tower, runway 27 Clipper takeoff.
Is trying to, after my PhD, try to apply all of that learning to helping primary schools, but perhaps also secondary school teachers, to use aviation and also flight simulation to do the same thing, to stimulate children's curious, creative, confident thinking. And learn about mathematics, about the weather, about topography, you name it, through flight sim. Because I think it's such an interdisciplinary practice. It's such a thrill, I think, for children if they can use the flight sim to learn about the world. We're still outside of that delta, but just to make sure.
John White ground, Bonanza 4922 Whiskey at the southeast ground.
And so in the upcoming
taxi IFR with
Flight Simulator convention here in the Netherlands, it's called Flight Simulator Weekend. Again, for those who of you who are Dutch or are living in Belgium or in Germany, thanks for the follow. Vinkout. Thank you. Welcome on board.
20 left taxi.
I will be
via
speaking
Alpha
about
Hotel
this
Charlie
topic
Kilo, 22
at that
Whiskey.
convention. And I'm going to make a very critical note of why usually flight sim conventions mostly consist of seniors, males, that are practicing flight sim, and why there aren't any women or why there aren't any students or teachers around. Because we need to showcase the potential educational value, I think, of flight sim. Not only just to inspire children to become pilots, obviously not, but to show them how flight simulation, it is not just a game. It's a learning environment. And how fun it is to learn how to fly, but also
terrain.
Yes,
Caution,
I know, my
terrain.
darling. I know, my darling.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain
Anyways,
ahead. Pull
so that's a bit
up.
of my mission.
Terrain ahead. Caution. Terrain. Caution.
Thanks
Terrain.
for the
Terrain.
follow.
Terrain.
Yes.
Pull up. Pull up.
Almost at traffic pattern altitude here. Again, lights are still on. Already go full mixture below 3000. Heading bug is set. We'll pretend that we have the weather. And let's also tune into tower 119.3. 119.3. That's set.
That. Maintain 3000. Expect VOR
Van Nuys is
Alpha
over there. Okay.
approach from
Perfect.
Wilma.
We are to the west. Van Nuys Tower, good day. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango Mike, 6 miles west of the airport with the weather inbound for a full stop.
PHTIM Van Nuys Tower. Enter left downwind. Runway 34 left, reporting full.
Left downwind 3-4 left, Papa Hotel Tango Mike. 3-4 left? 3-4 left? Okay. Well, that's still the same runway where the 2000 traffic pattern altitude applies for. Well, it doesn't really matter to change the heading bug, it's just inverted, but just to be safe. 3-4. Where's the traffic? Where's the airports? There's the airports. Wonderful. Downwind. Again, double check landing lights are on, mixtures full in, parking brake is released, fuel tank set to both. Awesome. Yes, Finish, it does. And you can also, I think, set it to give traffic alerts.
John Wayne clearance, Panther 5 Whiskey Delta, IFR to John Wayne for the I-1, please.
Let's go slower than 100 knots so we can.
Panther 5 Whiskey Delta, John
Set
Wayne
some
clearance.
flaps.
Clear to John Wayne Airport on departure flight heading 220, radar vectors. Still Beach, direct, maintain 2000, expect 3000.
And again, I was not flying on flight following today.
Departure frequency 1,
It was really nice chatting with you guys, but I should have been a little bit more aware of traffic around, especially in this area,
Okay, we'll fly
SoCal.
heading 220.
One archer flaps.
Direct to Seal Beach. And 2000, expect 3000, departure frequency 128.1, squawk 5501, 5 Whiskey
2,000
Delta.
feet. Again, last
And
check,
verify
make sure
Whiskey
full in,
Delta,
everything is set.
reback
Nice. Set a little bit again of a sunset here. It's so lovely. I'm gonna help myself.
Tower Bonanza 4922 Whiskey, short of 20 left at Kilo, ready for IFR departure.
And it's 492 Whiskey, John Wayne Tower, wind 2003, runway 20 left at Kilo, clear.
Clear for takeoff at 22 Whiskey.
Alright, well, there wasn't any request for me to do a position report, but I have not received my clearance to land. So, I'd like to have one.
Human clearance, good morning. Shotgun 2-2 IFR to March Air Reserve Base.
So let's do a position report very, very soon. Already past midpoints, we can start a descent
Did you
already.
get the feeling we forgot something?
Yeah, I know, Avanek. Clock, I didn't use it during my entire flight. Van Nuys Tower, Skycroft Hotel Mike is on the left downwind. 3, 4 left.
PHTIM, wind 3209er, runway 34 left, clear to land.
Clear land, 3, 4 left, 4 Hotel Mike.
Shotgun 2-2, human clearance, clear to March Air Reserve Base. Pick a 3.
Yes, everything is okay. I know what you meant.
Joe,
And Avanek,
3
congrats
departure.
again with your
Blythe
Cat 11.
transition.
You're now a full,
To Blythe, as filed.
fully earned,
Maintain 5,000.
fully developed
Expect
PPL
level
sim pilot.
34010 minutes
That's
after
wonderful.
departure. Departure frequency 125.55. Squawk 3243.
Alright, I'd like to be in the white band here for my 20 degrees of flaps.
Clear to March Air Reserve Base.
Around
Pikachu 3
1500
departure.
RPM.
Blythe transition.
Should do
and
the
as filed.
trick.
Maintain 5,000. 340 within 10. 125.55. And
Love those green taxi lights.
Shotgun 2-2.
Run a taxi or
Shotgun
near the
2-2, read back to
tower,
right.
I guess. White band, second notch of flaps.
Bonanza 2-2 Whiskey, contact circuit departure.
Over to departure at 22 Whiskey.
500.
500, I know. Bit of- Again, this is it's so important here to make a coordinated turn because you're relatively
John Wayne
flying
ground,
slow.
There are 5 Whiskey Delta.
You like your angle
with,
of attack
Delta
to
over
be
ready to
spot
taxi.
on. Alrighty, nose up. Look at that scene, guys. X-plane
Whiskey
11.
Delta, John Wayne ground, runway
yeah.
20 right, 6 feet, Bravo Kilo.
Taxi 20 right via Bravo Kilo. And there are 5 Whiskey
Wow.
Delta.
That's how you end a busy working day. Chatting with my sim friends here.
Bonanza 49er 2-2
Landing at
Whiskey
Van Nuys at
SoCal,
sunset.
departure radar contact, climb and maintain 4,000. Showing altimeter 3005.
$60. Alright, let's focus here. Mark a beacon. Now, one trick, I will show you that in just a sec when I landed. I'm really did a lot of study on my flying.
Skype 10, go turn left heading 030.
Oh, that's a bit too much. Nice, much better than usual. I will show you a app that I'm using to note down all of my learning challenges or learning goals, which I updated quite extensively actually. At Kilo. Wow, 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 wow. Van Nuys Tower, Sky Property Tango Mike is clear. 3, 4 left. Kilo taxi to the tower.
PHDIM, taxi to parking via Alpha, remain this frequency. Have a great day.
Via Alpha to parking, and we'll remain on this frequency. We up to date. Alright.
Pleasure.
Alright.
Status 0 Mike Hotel, contact Circle Bridge 135.4.
Cleaned. Here we go.
Status 0 Mike Hotels 135.4, 35.4.
Man, this is nice.
Brenda 22 Whiskey, fly heading 192.
I also really love to fly with music, guys. At least that was something that I always do when I fly off stream, but I hope that it's not annoying to you guys. Perhaps you are usually listening to your own music while watching the stream, so let me know if you rather like me to disable the music, but I really like it. Thanks for the follow, Sand. Thank you.
Circle approach Ontario, altimeter 3010.
This is not a good parking
Kirk
spot.
1 Circle, just confirm you wanted to divert to Fullerton, which you were cleared for, and which approach were you looking for from Wilma?
I like to park it in the hangar. That's my hangar. Because we've got a towing feature right on the wrap. Remain in the non-movement area here. Love the music. Thanks.
Kirk 1 Circle,
all right.
Roger.
Our hangar, guys. Let's turn around. Otherwise we'll hit the wingtip or we hit the fence. First off, transponder off. Avionics off. Lights, everything is off. Cut off. Wait until the prop stops. Magnetos. Batteries. Parking brakes not set because we're going to tow. Prevent cross-feeding. We can set the trim should be part of my after landing checks either way. That's good. Open the door. And there we are, guys. That was nice. Or robots. No, it's real people, Sam. That's PilotEdge. So those are professional air traffic controllers that are governing the airspace of a particular area in the western part of the US. And that's a great training aid. And it also, to me, it brings my flight simming practice to life, knowing that there are actually other controllers that are watching over me and even check rides, let alone it's also a multiplayer network. So you will also see other planes flying that are, well, not mostly, but I guess there are an increasing number of real world sim pilots flying on the network as well, which is really nice. Okay, so let's tow the airplane. Boom. Oh, that way around. Ah, this is cool. It's a bummer that I cannot use my tracker yard to see if my wingtips don't hit the... So let's just pretend that I've got everything under control here. That's nice. Alrighty. And let's go back into the cockpit. That's cool. Okay, so let's review the landing, guys. PilotEdge. Disconnect. Also, perhaps some of you know, let me do first things first. I'd like to show you guys an app that I'm using, as you already know. Sticky Note app, where I noted down all the stuff, advanced stuff that is now on my mind that I like to improve on or integrate as part of my flight routines here. As you can see, all of the different flight phases, and these are not really necessarily mistakes that I'm making, but stuff that I find important that I've been noticing at other pilots, also on YouTube, that I see fly, and I think, oh, that's interesting, or that's cool, or that's something that I should also consider at least as part of my flights. I will not go through each of them, but this is the base in the VOD. You can just rewatch and have a look. Also, if you've got any suggestions for me to elaborate on these, let me know. I think it's also just generally good advice to keep a list of things that you like to improve on and also set goals. One thing that I was really interested in, the Killing Zone. I don't know if you guys know. It's a really popular real-world aviation flying book that describes all kinds of accidents with flying, real-world flying. And I think you can learn a lot of that. But the thing that didn't really satisfy me by reading that book was that it's just a descriptive of accidents. And the advice is then usually, well, to not make the accidents. So they say, well, there was an accident where a pilot did not do a proper fuel calculation. So the advice is, well, do a proper fuel calculation, right? Which is a little bit of a plain advice, I think. And so I was thinking, well, what's actually underlying or causing those mistakes? And I think that's also, for a big chunk, some kind of sloppiness. Not being critically aware or reflective while you're flying or doing your pre-flight checks. And I noticed that as well in my flights, especially when I had a busy working day, but also just because I assume things. I mean, assumptions are really the shithole of all mistakes. So I was getting interested in the psychology of sloppiness, or how to prevent sloppiness, right? How can you prep yourself for a flight, or help yourself, support yourself on a psychological level while you're flying, to not make mistakes that often, right? Which is really interesting, and there are actually a lot of studies being conducted on that front also, especially within the world of aviation. So I'm trying to develop routines and things that I can implement to be a more safer, more effective sim pilot. Partly is also using the checklist more often, but there are other things as well. And one of the things is to be much more aware of the things that you need to work on. So if you can anticipate your common mistakes, that's usually a really great strategy to prevent them. Very simple and self-explanatory, but yeah, so it's really handy to make a list of the stuff that you find that you often forget about, or something that you need to focus on a little bit more. Well, this is my list. And I'd like to develop that list a little bit more further in time, but I'd just like to show you what this is all about. And I will mention some of that stuff in future streams as well. Okay, that's it. Then my question is, as part of that training routine and being serious about my flight sim training, I was also wondering whether it might be good for me to, if I am in a particular flight phase, and I guess only when I'm on the ground or not on PilotEdge, or in an echo airspace, for example, where I'm not making any intrusion on any airspace, can I use the flight recorder to go back in time, but then when I go back in time, say at this point I'd like to take over again? If I really went back into time and then start to fly the airplane from that moment on, rather than just rewatching my flight. Is that possible with X-Plane? I don't know for sure, and I don't know how to do it. Because in that way I can just better drill and practice stuff that I'm forgetting. For example, if I did a run-up and I forgot 3 checks, rather than saying, oh damn it, I missed 3 checks, for example, set my clock. I'm usually forgetting to set my clock. Rather than just completing the entire flight, wait 2 days, and then remember to set the clock with my next flight, just to go back in time 5 minutes before I came to the run-up area and just do it again and do it perfectly. Right? Is that possible? I don't know for sure. Okay, anyways, let's go back here. Nice. That's a nice picture. The Papa Hotel Tango India Mike inbound for a full stop. High speed inbound. I love the tower view actually. Also, I mentioned in some previous streams, and I'm still doing this, just connecting to PilotEdge on X-Plane, just tuning in to the tower, and just see inbound and outbound traffic. It's so relaxing, and then especially with some music on, doing some work in the background, that's just great. Alright, coming in. I think I'm also pleased with this flight. So crosswinds with NDBs and VORs made sense to me. And again, it's a little bit more challenging to do that with an NDB. So I can imagine an NDB approach with a crosswind, a significant crosswind. But we're gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, hopefully also successfully. Also, I thought at my next stage, or I'm currently in my stage 2 of my training on the UncertifiedPilot.com. You can see my curriculum that I made and checked with Keith and with others. That the next task of my stage 2 of my training is not flying a departure procedure set. There was some ballooning. Really nice slow on speed, that was good. But flying DME arcs first. Before I'm gonna start with flying actual instrument procedures with ATC. So that's gonna be fun as well, flying a DME arc. And also with winds calm and with crosswind. Nose up. So one of the things also is on my list is I need to fly with a much lower speed. Almost need to stall onto the runway. Not exactly, but almost like that. Usually I'm flying with a too much high of a speed. Now, I've been talking about this in previous streams as well, and some of you said, well, Tim, you like to have some margin when you are flying on short final. Well, that's true, but I'm not talking about short final. I'm flying on the really far end, final stage of the touchdown. To really allow all of the energy seep away. And I was noticing this because also on YouTube when I looked pilots and instructors fly, usually when you land on the runway you use aerodynamic braking to slow down the aircraft as well, to use the brakes least as possible, right? But if I'm at a too high airspeed and I'm already pulling on the yoke when I'm, well, 55 knots, I'm just going to climb up, right? I'm going to lift off and stall into the runway again, which is really, really dangerous. And so I thought, well, that's weird. So that, again, confirms that I'm actually going too fast. So I actually like to land with my yoke full back, full deflection aft. And that's what I tried to do here. And I landed at around 45 knots or so. Holds. Yes, holds are good as well. I don't know where I set my holds exercises finish. I know I've set them, but I think I set them in a later stage. Again, we're not crabbed. Just a tiny bit, I guess. To the right. Nose up. Nose up. Nose up. Nose up. That was really nice. Also, what I didn't do here, I was landing with 20 degrees of flaps, and I should land with full flaps, 30 degrees. Aerodynamic braking, as you can see here, elevator. Nice, 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 nice. I don't feel like quitting the stream, guys, but Mrs. Uncertified is waiting for me. Wow. I love X-Plane. Anyways, guys. First, music. Oh, fish. Let's go back to the hangar. That's nice sun glare there. that's really cool. Guys, thank you again for jumping aboard. Really appreciate it. I mean, again, flying without you as passengers is not fun at all. And also, thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and tips. I'm becoming a better sim pilot through your advice and mentoring. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, Sniper, thank you for your subscription a while ago. Your resubscription, a really trusty follower. Again, I needed you here on the stream because I was forgetting setting my clock all the time. It wasn't about, if it wasn't Evanek who just reminded me through that soundbite, I would have not thought about the clock until my landing. So again, that's also why I need to drill and practice those checks and my flows, the rhythm to flying a little bit more as part of my future streams. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, San. Thank you for your follows as well. Finish, also thank you for being on the stream as usual and sharing your knowledge as well. Very much appreciated. And we should chat soon on the Discord. I would love to know how you are doing. So, guys, that completes this task of my stage 2 of training, flying radials or bearings with a crosswind component. Not that difficult. Fun though. I really had fun today. Next up is flying DME arcs, and that's the last kind of isolated flight task. After that one, I've seen, I will fly my first obstacle departure procedure. I have still something to learn about those. I know what they are, kind of, but I'm not really prepared to stream one of those. So that's up next, and then gradually we're gonna do much more full-blown departures and also arrivals and approaches, and that's going to be really, really interesting. So again, the hardcore chunk of my IFR training is coming up. These are just still preliminary preparatory training exercises, which I really love. But still, that's coming up next. So I hope you will jump aboard as well in my following streams when I'm practicing my DME arc flying. It's going to be interesting to study about that. Need to study those too, so that's going to be interesting. Also, again, just one last reminder for those of you who are living in the Netherlands or in Germany or Belgium, or like to jump over to shake my hand, the 4th and 5th of November, this November, in the Netherlands, Lelystad to be exact, there's going to be a flight simulator weekend at our National Aviation Museum in Lelystad, in the middle of the Netherlands, where X-Plane will talk, but I will talk as well. Do a presentation about the Uncertified Pilot, the fun and thrill, but also the educational value of flight simulation. So if you like to say hi, come over. We're going to have a lot of fun. Also, Evanek will be there. I think Kimo and others will perhaps also visit. All of the Papa Hotels or Dutch followers will be there. So that's going to be really, really interesting. So again, Flight Simulator weekend in Lelystad, the 4th and 5th of November. You're really, really welcome to drop by. Thank you again, guys, for being here on board, being my trusty followers. Again, much, much, much appreciated. Hoping to see you very, very soon on my next stream, I guess somewhere this week, where I'm going to practice those DME arcs. As always, happy flights and blue skies. Bye, guys. Palm Springs Tower, Skyline Hotel, Tango, Mike is 10 miles north of the airport at 3000. With information X-ray, I'm for a full stop. Landing 13 left, if that's available.
Hotel Tango, India Mike, Palm Springs Tower, squawk 6250.
6250.
Hotel Tango, India Mike, Palm Springs altimeter is 29885, radar contact about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, so requesting straight in for 13.
If that's available, yes, please.
Remember, correction, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike, make straight in runway 13 left and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance, Pilatus 4658 is type PC-12 slam call, request clearance to Vegas S-file.
Pilatus 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon, unable to give you S-file, and I'll be forward standby. Pilatus 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas airport via Flight Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs, Victor 370 to 29 Palms, Victor 538, Cresso, join the Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000, expect flight level 2405 minutes after departure, departure frequency 126.7, squawk 6316.
Cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3. Initially climb 7,000, expect to further after departure 1267, squawk 6316, Pilatus 465.
Pilatus 4658, readback is correct. Tango to Mike, taxi to ramp via echo, remain this frequency.
Taxiing to the ramp via Echo, remaining on this frequency, Papa Delta Yankee Mike.
Ontario Tower says that 237 Charlie Alpha approximately 4 miles to the west inbound to land.
Number 237 Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left traffic. Left downwind runway 26 left report base.
Enter left downwind 26 left and record your base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United